Okay, so episode 104 of Super brought back Super Saiyan God, and some people are still pretty confused about what's going on with this transformation and how it relates to the golden-haired Super Saiyan form, the regular one, and the blue-haired form. So I'm going to do a real quick refresher course here on this video and sort of gather together the information that was given to us, not just with episode 104, but also with previous episodes of Super, and make everything as simple as possible, as quickly as possible. Let's get to the video next. Hey folks, we just passed the 300,000 subscriber mark, and I wanted to tell you guys thank you for always supporting my channel. And if you're on a mobile device watching this and you want to continue to support my channel, there's a link down below where you can download some new mobile games, a specialized affiliate link for me, and whenever you click that link to download the games, and it will help out my channel. These are all totally free games. They're fun games. All you gotta do is download, install them, and play. And thank you ahead of time for all of your support in the future. So it doesn't matter if you're following the Battle of Gods movie, the manga done by Toyotaro, or the anime. The idea of Goku achieving Super Saiyan God is pretty much the same thing across the board. He used the ritual and he tapped into a power that he himself said he never knew he could reach on his own. It was a new thing for Goku. This was the first time that Goku ever tapped into or felt the power of what is referred to as God Ki or divine energy. And then later on we find out that Vegeta was able to learn this without the ritual, just by training with Whis, and then Goku would join him and they would train together and learn what would become Super Saiyan Blue, which is, as Goku described in Resurrection F, Goku himself says he got a taste of something called Super Saiyan God, and the blue-haired form is what happens when the Saiyan with the power of a Super Saiyan God, or with God Ki, transforms into a Super Saiyan. I know, that's a mouthful. Now, if you go back to the fight with Goku versus Beerus in Battle of Gods, there's a part where Goku loses his Super Saiyan God form and reverts back to the golden-haired version of Super Saiyan, presumably because that is the transformation that Goku was most comfortable with by that point in the series, the one he had used more than any other one. So his body sort of, I guess, regressed back into what it found was familiar. That's the way I always perceived it, and that's the way that makes the most sense to me. But Beerus himself says that he retained some of the Super Saiyan God power, which again would be referred to as God Ki. Now, moving forward, it's already been explained several different times that Super Saiyan Blue or Super Saiyan God Super Saiyan, either name works, is without question more powerful than Super Saiyan God. If you think otherwise, then it's just willful ignorance, and I don't really care. That's your problem, not mine. The series and the manga both state this. Now, with Dragon Ball Super episode 104, there was a little bit of confusion because Goku went back to using the red-haired form. Now, I want to quickly say that it was never ever explained or explicitly stated that Goku could never use the red-haired form again. That was never said. However, in the Dragon Ball Super manga that was written by Toyotaro, we see Goku and Vegeta use the red-haired form in the Trunks arc. Actually, Goku used it a few times even earlier in the series, only in the manga. Now it appears like the anime staff has adapted or adopted, whatever word you want to use, the Toyotaro mentality of what Super Saiyan God is. But it could also be a note from Toriyama himself. As of right now, we do not have the details on the behind the scenes of this, but pretty much here's how it goes, okay? Goku can use Super Saiyan Gold. We're going to call it, for the sake of this video, Gold, the yellow-haired form. And he can use SS2 and SS3. And I think the reason why he doesn't use SS2 and SS3 is because they're obsolete transformations. That's, again, my perception of it, and it's also because Super Saiyan God and Blue are better. With episode 104, we saw God make a comeback, and we saw Goku switch between God and Blue several times in that episode, just like how he and Vegeta did in the manga. Now, I did 2 videos covering this. One was with Herms called Super Saiyan God Returns, and the other one was Super Saiyan God Vegeta Explained, where I go into explicit detail about what all this means. But the Cliff Notes version of it is this. The short version is that even though Super Saiyan Blue does offer a tremendous amount of power and a tremendous amount of ki control, and it also gives you the most speed, plus you can always stack Kaioken on top of that to multiply that even further, it also does tend to wear out your body if you fight for a prolonged period of time. Now, even though Super Saiyan God initially did flare out on Goku, and Super Saiyan Blue certainly did seem like it was more stable at the time. I think what happened was, and this was mostly off screen, I believe, Goku, with his constant training and learning more about his own body and learning things from Whis, was able to figure out that the reason why he lost the God form when he fought Beerus is because his body at the time was not used to any of that stuff. He had no idea how to use God Ki. Whereas now, deeper into the series, Goku has much more control over his body, and as a result of that, he can tap into the red-haired Super Saiyan God form. Now, the question, of course, then is, why would Goku use that form and not Blue? Well, Goku says in Dragon Ball Super Episode 104 that he is saving Super Saiyan Blue because it's implied that Super Saiyan Blue can decrease your stamina if you fight for a prolonged period of time. Now, my question when I watched the episode was, well, why didn't we see Goku use the red-haired form previously? Well, perhaps Goku didn't figure out he could prior to that, but that doesn't make much sense to me. One theory that I think is the most logical, that actually I think is the truth, really, it's this damn good of a theory, was by Gaming Claw on Twitter, who told me that he believes the reason why Goku isn't using Blue is because the difference between the Tournament of Power and previous fights with Goku Black and Frieza is that with this tournament, Goku going into it knows that he's not only facing off against 70 other potential opponents from 7 other universes, he knows that there are tough guys in this tournament that are going to challenge him, and thus Goku is deciding and choosing to not use the blue-haired form because we know, according to what we said and what Goku said and what's been said over and over again in the anime and the manga, that the blue-haired form uses up a lot of stamina, which is why in his battle with Dyspo, he knew based on watching Dyspo fight Hit that Dyspo's biggest advantage was his speed. But Goku knew, rather than go into the blue-haired form, which is just as fast as Red, don't get confused, Red is not faster than Blue, but Red is faster than Yellow, than Golden Super Saiyan, the old school one. Goku realized very quickly that him staying in the blue-haired form, if he fought Dyspo with Super Saiyan Blue, that would be detrimental to his stamina, and by the time he faced off against Toppo or Jiren, he would be very tired. So instead, he decided to switch between Red and Blue, just like it was in the Dragon Ball Super manga that Toyotaro wrote. He uses the red-haired form because it gives him that speed advantage ahead of the regular golden-haired Super Saiyan, but it does not drain his stamina like Super Saiyan Blue does, and it doesn't really put punishment on his body like the Super Saiyan Blue with Kaioken stacked on top does, because even though Kaioken does multiply your speed and your senses and your strength and all that stuff, it still kills you. We saw that it drains the heck out of you. So Goku, being, thinking very intelligently about the future of his body and this tournament and whether or not it can hold out, says, okay, let's not use Blue a lot. Let's use Blue only when necessary, and that is what pretty much is going on with this episode. During his fight with Dyspo, Goku even brings up timing. What he's trying to explain to the audience and to Dyspo is that he's been able to develop a much higher knowledge of these transformations, how they work and how they affect his body. So Goku has figured out how to pretty much go between red, blue, and yellow at will because of how much training he did. It's almost like second nature to him, which is why Goku, even though he's done some dumb things in the past, is always considered a fighting genius because he's able to gain awareness of things about his own body that you would think would take other people much longer. He's able to figure these things out. Just like how in Dragon Ball Z, he figured out that the bulky transformations that Vegeta and Trunks used were not effective to defeat Cell because Cell was too fast. It's very similar. Goku pretty much figured out, because he's that damn good when it comes to fighting, that even though he can use Blue whenever he wants to and pummel Dyspo, he would rather save it for a tougher opponent, because if he uses too much of the blue power now, it's going to end up hurting him later on, and he'll end up being more tired, and you know what's going to happen if that happens. So the only real unanswered question that I have coming out of this is, does Vegeta, like in the manga, in the anime version of these events, does Vegeta know how to use the red-haired form in the anime? time will tell on that one. We haven't seen him use it whatsoever in the anime, but we know for certain in the manga he did. So, here's how it works. The way it works as far as power is yellow, and then SS2 and SS3, presumably, then red, then blue, but blue drains your stamina, and that is why Goku chose to do red in episode 104. To be honest, it actually makes sense. Goku knew this is going to be a long tournament, so there's no reason for him to have exhausted himself because he'll be fighting for a longer period of time than he did against Goku Black, Frieza, and all these other guys. So that is the explanation of Goku and his ability to do all these great things that he always does. Thank you so very much for watching the video. I hope that this helped you out in some way. And even if you knew all the information, use this video to spread it out to people who may not know or may still be confused about why there's, yellow, red, and blue transformations. I now understand it better, and I think even though I wish they would have explained it prior to this arc, it could just be that Goku didn't even figure it out until he trained for this tournament. I think that is the best explanation. Thank you as always. I hope you have a great day, and I'll talk to you later.